Hello people of the internet, this is Shaky Jake, and I really need a catchphrase. You are watching Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, with the restored content modification. Previously on KotOR 2, we played through the Peragus mining tunnels, we met up with a very strange HK droid, and various things happened where we had to mimic a dead mining officer's voice. And now that we've done that, we can open this door, which we have already set up to open, and we can go through. Now here, it tells you that in order to exit the airlock, you will need the spacesuit stored in the locker in this room. And we're already looking at it, to be honest. It should equip automatically when you select the outer airlock. Awesome, so you can't go out here until you've got the spacesuit. So you pick this up. And anyone who's played through the first game will recognise this straight away. The moment you go out here, you will be in a spacesuit and you'll be crawling through space. Or will we be crawling? Let's find out. So this is the spacesuit from Knights of the Old Republic 1, and it hasn't really changed much, except for this. Notice how there's no limit to your running speed compared to the first game. In the first game, this movement was very cumbersome, it was very slow, it was very realistic because you were walking through space and there's lack of gravity and various other things. And this is a very beautiful view, I must say. This looks absolutely fantastic. I'm getting distracted by the slightly pretty modded visuals I downloaded. Anyway, so what Obsidian wisely did was speed up the movement of how long it takes you to move in this spacesuit, so it doesn't actually feel slow and cumbersome like it once did in the first game. But it really distracts from the realism, and it looks incredibly stupid and also very funny. So, oh, that's a very nice starfield there as well. So just be aware of that. It's great from a gameplay perspective because it's not as tedious as it once was, but it's very unrealistic and it looks so goofy. It's memorably goofy. So here we're gonna see Atten again.
That's about time. I lost your signal after you left the mining tunnels. Now you're coming in clear.
Except I'm picking you up on the exterior of the facility, on the asteroid's surface. That can't be right.
Really? Maybe you should look up.
Huh? What are you doing out there?
Oh, you know, I'm just taking a relaxing walk.
You're crazy, even for a Jedi. Look, you need to get out of there, quick.
I'm trying to pick up the pace, believe me. At the speed I'm going, I'm definitely picking up the pace.
What little is left of the facility's venting systems have gone active, most likely from the explosions in the mining tunnels. They're venting Peragus fuel deposits into space through the exterior vents, right in your path.
Looks like I'll have to hurry then as an option. Well, considering the walking speed, I don't think we have to worry about that. Why are the vents placed so close to the exterior scaffolding?
That's just it. They're not supposed to be active when the airlock's opened, and not without the safety measures kicking in. The vents look like they've been purposely rerouted to vent the gases to the exterior. And only in the last few minutes. It's almost as if... Now what now? I don't believe this. There's a ship coming in, sending a docking code. I have a bad feeling about this.
There's the line. Okay, so the one cutscene always refuses to play on my game, the one before this, so I'm going to patch that back in directly through editing. And this is one of the few shots in the game that I actively dislike. Not because it's a badly shot scene, because from a cinematography perspective it looks absolutely fantastic, and it's paced effectively. But from a gameplay perspective, I find this scene goes on far too long. Particularly when we've already had a number of cutscenes already establishing the ominous shot that's taking place. And the steam going off in the background is really irritating with the sound so low. Thanks to the update kind of destroying the volume and the audio levels of the background music. And there's a funny bit that comes up in a minute, and it's been patched back in by the restored content mod. And it was the most unnecessary addition I have ever seen to this sequence. You'll see it in a moment. And it's to do with Kreia. So just keep an eye out for that.
He has come.
Yeah, I gathered that, Kreia. That's what the whole cutscene was about. It's like, we didn't need you to spell it out. I'm not quite sure why this was cut to begin with, unless if Obsidian realised it was stupid to begin with. But I'm not quite sure why the modders decided to put it back in, because it doesn't add anything. It's just unintentionally hilarious that Kreia's telling you information that's pretty obvious and spout out to you at this point. So now we're going to enter the Dormitories, which is a pretty good gameplay section for this part of the game. There is still some dialogue involved, but it's mainly through recordings as opposed to talking to anybody. So we got a few fights to do here, and from what I can tell, this will actually be easier with a gun as opposed to a sword, because you can pick off some of the more trickier enemies this way. And I want the combat music to stop, although it's going to start again, so it doesn't really matter. And it would be nice if I could hit. Yeah, shooting the side of the droids doesn't help you. You need to, that's better, you need to aim for your actual opponent. So we got a datapad, a storage log datapad. It's very weird how they put datapad at the beginning. Now the fire suppression systems have gone active and I can't even make it to the dormitory section. I watched the turrets turn their carbonite freeze rays on Maban before he even got halfway across the room. Fortunately, their range doesn't seem to go beyond the room itself, so I was able to remain safe in the corridor, but I didn't have any ranged weapons to take them out from a distance, and I didn't have a stealth field generator to sneak across the room either. I tried unlocking the storage room door to see if there are any cold resistant items or grenades I could use, but the door was sealed from the lockdown. I don't know enough about security systems to open it, and I didn't have a sonic charge to blow the door open. Still, as long as the droids don't make it into this section, I should be alright. Well, I gather they brutally murdered this guy. And the combat music is about to finish. There we go. So I'm going to switch to the plasma torch and open this. There we go. We will probably have to do that with the lockers in here because we have no security skill. And we're going to get loads of broken items, but we do get a better shield in the Mandalorian one, so that's nice. I will wear that later. Now that belt I want to wear because that gives better fortitude, so let's do that. And reflex package, I love my implants, so definitely going to put one of those on. And some gloves, that just gives us a bit more immunity, so that'll be quite nice. Yeah, we could just get some stuff here. You don't necessarily need to come in here, but you can just to get some extra stuff. I always like to explore every container possible. Is there anything I can do with this workbench whilst I'm here? Still can't upgrade this. I'm usually used to having at least an underlay by this point, but maybe not. Let's just try it again. We can get some computer spikes. We only have 2. Could actually make quite a few of them, actually. I am tempted to do that because computer spikes are hard to get access to. So I'm going to create a couple. There we go. That should be fine. And switch back to our gun. And then these enemies in here can be a bit of a pain. So this is when having a gun is actually better than having a sword, because normally I get used to being frozen in this room because they have certain irritating abilities, but with a gun this becomes a bit of a joke. So I'm in a bit of a weird mood today recording this. I've had one of those days where it's not necessarily a bad day from the point of view that everything went wrong and everything was terrible and various other things. I just found it to be one of those days where I feel really deflated. Oh, and I need to switch the difficulty again. It's one of those days where I feel a bit deflated and just sort of exhausted, and whilst most stuff went okay, I just sort of felt flat by the end of it, and I'm not quite sure why. It's something that it gets to me occasionally. It happens to me every couple of days or so, but that's just life, I think, unfortunately. I'm one of those people that can be put in a very bad mood very easily if something goes wrong, even just slightly. So that's why I felt like playing this tonight, because I want to enjoy myself and just have some fun. Oh, and we've leveled up already, which is nice. I will deal with that in a moment. Now, what you could do with level ups is you could wait until you're very close to dying and then just use the level up to give yourself a full heal. I don't really bother with that particularly, unless if I know there's going to be a difficult fight, and then I just hold off leveling up until that particular point. There we go. I might as well just deal with all these droids now whilst the combat music is still playing, because otherwise it's just going to keep coming back on and then turning off and then coming back on, and it's just going to be really irritating. Let's try stun droids, see how that goes. Yep, they've got good resistance this time. Okay, we're going to have to use the plasma torch. Not a great weapon, but we'll use it anyway. Oh, that was terrible. Come on. Yeah, I'd be better off with the Vibrocur. Right, let's do that. I was trying my best to see how long I could tolerate the plasma torch for. Although these droids can be a pain if you're not careful. Okay, there we go. Let's see if there's any more whilst I'm here, because there's going to be some round this corner. Yes. And I'm doing this now just to... Oh, there's a maintenance droid. That's not a good sign. Okay, kill you. But yeah, I'm in a bit of a weird mood today, and it's just one of those instances where it happens, and then I just sort of have to deal with it as best I can, which doesn't always happen. Oh, there's another droid. I'll deal with you in a moment. And I'm in the sort of phase where I find it difficult to play games as much as I used to. Not because I've been put off them or anything, or put off by them. It's just real life. I think the older you get, the harder it is to find time. Oh, I've been frozen. Great. It's a bit hard to fully switch off from real life and just focus. Oh, good, we got one off there. It's kind of difficult to focus on fun stuff when you're thinking of work all the time, and when you're thinking of things that didn't go your way during the day and various other things. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it like I normally do. And as you can see, these turrets are trying to freeze me. They're not having a good time, so they're dead. Is there any more? Yes. Again, I want to deal with these guys as much as I possibly can. I think... Oh, one more, and then I think that's everybody. And I probably should level up before I die, so let's do that, because they could get a lucky roll. Let's see. I will upgrade Persuade, because I don't think I need Demolitions much now. And then Powers. What level am I at? Level 5, so I can't go for Force Deflection yet. Effect Mind is tempting, but I don't really need it yet. I'll need it later on, once I'm finished with Peragus, but I don't really need it here. I'm going to go for... I will actually go for Force Screen, because I did pass up on it last time, so let's get that. It is actually a very good dark side power. It's also got a fairly funky animation as well. Yeah, shooting this is not going to help you destroy droids. Thank you. Now, there's a number of ways you can approach this bit here, and Obsidian gave you multiple options on how to complete this area of the game. So we've just got a breath mask and we've also got a data pad. I swear they're never going to get around to fixing the ventilation systems. And if the food processors back up again, that doesn't make sense. I think that's meant to say. And if the food processors are back up again, then the next time the fumes start flooding the mess hall, I'll be dead rather than just nauseous. I'll keep the breath mask here just in case we have a repeat incident. Judging by what's in here, I don't think they ever got access to that breath mask. So here we just get some free chemicals, nothing too special. I am going to have a look and see what I can actually craft with that, because I don't think there's much. And I could get an implant that I can't actually wear, or can I wear it? I don't think I can, but I don't want to spend that many chemicals on it to find out. I don't think I can though. I mean, I've got 14 constitution at the moment, but that's because of an implant I've got. If I take it off, I won't be able to put it on. I'm just going around picking up stuff from droids. I am going to leave the difficulty on normal in case there's any mines, although you know what, no, I will put it back on difficult and then I will adjust when and if I see mines. Or if and when and I see mines. I never know what order to say that phrase in. Okay, another data pad. Got another lecture about contraband today. Security hasn't started doing spot checks of our quarters yet, so my cache in the lower bunk in my room in the eastern dormitory should be safe. You won't even know it's there unless you know to look for it. KotOR came around again. We know about KotOR. We've heard from him once, asking if I have had any special cargo to sell. But I was getting a bad feeling about how he was asking, so I stayed quiet about my stash. That's probably a wise choice. I'm going to keep that blaster I smuggled from Telos and a few grenades there just in case things get rough. Only benefit to having a room in the farthest from the door is that it should buy me enough time to dump the contraband if security does a surprise inspection. Okay, so this guy's a little bit crafty, but maybe not as crafty as he thinks. So a couple of things here. We open this door and we come across 3 bodies, 2 corpses of unnamed characters and KotOR. So here, this is basically the exit for where we need to get off. So we need to go up this turbo lift, but we cannot, unfortunately. There are 2 mining lasers here. We could switch this to the 2 mining lasers, but I'm not going to yet, on the basis that I don't have 2 weapon fighting and I don't feel confident using 2 weapons right now. Although the iron carbine would be good for taking out some droids, so I am going to switch to that for a moment. Would have been nice if I had this earlier, to be honest, but whatever. So essentially we need to open this turbo lift up, otherwise we can't leave and we're stuck here forever. Let's see what we can find out so far. Normally I don't come to this area until I've done everything, but for the sake of realism I'm coming here first. Open turbo lift door. We could slice the door, we could enter the code manually. There's a code apparently, so we need to try and figure that out. Or we could destroy the console to force open the door. If you were impatient and you didn't want to figure out what you have to do here, you can do that and the door opens. That's literally what I did in my very first playthrough, because I wasn't paying attention to the plot. That's what happens when you're 12 approaching 13 at the time and you get bored of hearing so much dialogue. So I'm going to log out. And then here we need to figure out what is going on. Because, you know what, actually, hold on, let me go back on this once I've read the journal. The turbo lift back to the administration level is locked by a code. If so, then it's likely one of the officers has it, or there is a record of it somewhere. Yeah, so actually ignore the console then. We're going to head back a bit and backtrack through this and see what's going on. Because I'm sure there's some interesting stuff happening. And I'm pretty sure the door we need to go through is locked. Let me just double check. This is where we need to go. So yeah, that's locked. So we can access this shift assignment console. And again, repair is always more useful here. So let's do that. We can check some logs. And there's nothing of interest. So we can skip that. We've got camera controls. So we got that. Oh, and there's these are the gas fumes that were discussed earlier. We can shut those down, although seeing as we have the breath mask, there's actually no point. We might as well just leave it on, because why waste the spikes on turning them off? It's not very realistic, and it doesn't look very tidy, but I want to save and conserve spikes. And then there's the turbo left. So we need to end the emergency lockdown in order to open the door. Not a problem. And then here, there was no communications on the dorms, so things were getting very damaged down here, to the point where nobody could communicate with anywhere else particularly easily. So we're going to go left first, and I can't remember which of these two ways you're supposed to go, because one way is slightly better than the other, but we're going to go left first. Oh wow, this droid's doing a lot of damage, so I'm actually going to turn Force Aura on and put a shield on, just in case. Now, you can't see the breath mask, unfortunately, because of a mod I downloaded which hides headwear. If I could, I would download a mod that allowed for cool items to show up, but not the rest, because the rest of them just look terrible. And it was the same in the first game as well. Most headwear looked dreadful, apart from the breath mask, which you could use for evil characters. Here, I'm going to set a mine, if it will let me. Yes. And that will open the damaged... Oh no, it didn't. Okay, let's give it another try. There we go. Had to lower the difficulty again, predictably. So here you could just get some free stuff. It's worth doing. I remember the first few times I played this game, I didn't disable the gas or get the breath mask until after I'd been in these areas, so I was constantly getting poisoned. It was quite amusing at the time. And I never actually died from the poison because I just had enough med packs to combat the effects, but it was something I always found quite interesting. And here I need the plasma torch for this, because it's guaranteed one hit and it's done. Get some credits, no broken items, which is quite nice. Now, logically, you'd think I should have turned the poison gas off because of... because, you know, it's probably seeping through the whole facility, but what does it matter? We're just playing this for fun. And there's a corpse from an administration officer, and he's got a log, which we can plug in. So we need to plug that into the relevant one, which is here. Before we do that, I am going to explore the other side in case there's any more. Because there might be, you never know. Let's put burst of speed on and take out anybody that we come across. As you can see, this gun is doing a lot of damage against droids when it hits because it's ion related. And then I say that and then it doesn't do much damage at all, so thanks for that game. Really appreciated that. There we go. Okay, broken log. We can scavenge that for components. And we're done. So let's open this footlocker. More credits. I'm not quite sure why the game's so generous with giving you credits this early on, considering we haven't found anywhere to spend them. Look, 111 credits and 55 credits. It's insane. But yeah, we're getting so many credits, but we can't actually spend them yet. A couple of the sinks will have items, so we got another log for some reason in the sink, but okay. And then we've got more footlockers. I think there's another door with... I think there's another door that needs a mine to damage it, well, a mine to open it. Another log. There's quite a lot of logs we're going to have to listen to in a moment. And there's an advanced adrenaline amplifier, which is weird because we never found the regular adrenaline amplifier. That was actually quite a lucky roll. I will have that. Thank you very much. And then here's the damaged door that we can open. Now, most of my early playthroughs, I never actually saw what was beyond these doors because of not having enough demolitions and stuff. Strength enhancer. Now you give me another good bout. Although, I don't actually need that, because I don't need strength particularly. But I will keep the bout in case I end up in any hand-to-hand combat situations that this game likes to put you in. Hidden compartment, and that just gives you a blaster pistol. And some grenades in a med pack. Now I'm going to assume the blaster pistol is better than a mining laser. It actually isn't. That is incredibly disappointing. I was hoping for something substantial, but whatever, we're fine. So whilst all this gas is seeping through the entirety of where we're at, and I skipped a door, didn't I? A door with nothing in, but I still skipped it. This one, there's a corpse with another energy shield and some credits. Okay, so let's go back to the opposite side where we were just at and play all of these logs that we found. I think there was about 3 of them that we found, maybe. Although I think one you have to play back on the terminal by the exit. So let's go on here. Search for logged holo display entries. There's nothing here. So we've got 4 holo logs to play. We're going to be here for quite a while. And we've got a number of different in the logs we've got a number of different access entries and different files on here. So let's play them all, shall we?
This may be the beginning of a long record. It's about an hour after the facility suffered the explosion that triggered the emergency lockdown. Just finished helping the dock officer set up the transmission relay. Not much signal strength, but it's better than nothing. The transmission gives the code to open the turbo lift when or if help arrives. Code is a simple group of 5 numbers. 3, 17, 13, then the next 2 numbers are...
Sir, couldn't we contact the medbay? Maybe the Jedi's awake. If so, he could help us.
No good. The link to the medical computer was severed from the hub, just like the administration console. Even if the Jedi wakes up, how would we get the dormitory turbo lift code to him? Without it, the turbo lift to the administration level is locked down. We just took an inventory of our supplies. We've got enough emergency rations in the dormitories to last almost a month. But with all the problems in the facility, I don't know how long we'll last. I wish we could contact the Jedi. Maybe he could... But no, he's still floating in that damn tank. Someone's played us for fools. And since KotOR and his crew aren't locked in here with us, it's pretty clear who it was. If I ever catch up with that Mandalorian-loving son of a... At least the air scrubbers are still working, even though they're tied into the... Hey, what's happening to the ventilation system?
Oh, and that's the start of the poisonous gas. Fatal to everyone within the dormitories. As goofy as the falling over animation is, this is actually quite a tense scene. Like, the idea of being suffocated to death and then poisoned is actually extremely terrifying. To me, anyway. Next one, we've got 3 entries, one of which is incomplete. This is with alien dialogue, so you can skip this if you want. Just read the subtitles and then skip.
Manama treto sobre barakto drun. Krishe mentru gre babano flank tour na saganich. Gravawe no ku se tabate bate. Trawinsto sopotuto neliep grimpatado. Trawinsto busuto neliep grampatala. Teleronda nana nintolo gradatira. Der winterunto wakare que wapa teratana chingaradana. Ferra rampada no de brintada nel camera cella fibor no botat. Dosane caramala blur incidera mel rebe chinchin cranactada. Relibe curunto so mele grima con corregim passa. Rechu contrada somo con cere non grum grum.
I am actually going to skip this when I play the next entry. I'll read it in my head and then skip. That last line is very apt as well. Okay, that wasn't too long because of getting to skip that.
Manama treto sobre barakto drun. Krishe mentru gre babano flank tour na saganich. Der winterunto wakare que wapa teratana chingaradana. Federator rampada no rinka nel commercio cella fibonalot. Turun kawre. Ona jun senisensen drawiche kanel commercio cella fibonalot.
Oh, sneaky. Good punch, though.
Your ears always were too big, CN. Come on, if the maintenance officer comes through on the explosions, these dorms are going to be filling up soon. And shut that damn data pad off and throw it down the refresher.
The maintenance officer, I misquoted his name earlier. I said mining officer, didn't I? That's bad of me. So, that's that one. Next one.
We managed to get to the dormitories. We should be safe here. We've been trying to use the holo transmitter to beam a transmission to the administration level to end the lockdown. But the administration console's been severed from the main hub. Everyone thinks we should try to evacuate on our own as soon as possible. But there's no way to break the dormitory seals from the inside. I'm going to keep sending distress calls in the meantime. We've been trying to find a way to circumvent the lockdown and get to our hangar bay, but so far, no luck. The situation's worse than we thought. Even if we get out of here, we can't shut down the fuel depot force fields if a fuel leak was detected. If so, the only way off this asteroid is if a ship docks with us. But the only connection to the docking platform is on the administration level, and we can't get up to the docking bay while we're trapped here. I only hope someone survived the explosion in the mining tunnels. If not, then we're stranded here. Unless our transmission reaches a passing ship, or a Telos freighter. Managed to use the holo transmitter here as a crew relay.
That bit was always a bit
transmissions
glitchy.
outside the Peragus facility. With any luck, the transmission will carry beyond the asteroid field. We've set the emergency transmission on automatic playback. We're using a simple military flash code to transmit the code to the turbolifts, so maybe our rescuers can get down to the dormitory when they reach the station. Without those turbolift codes, our rescuers wouldn't be able to get here from the administration level. And without those codes, we wouldn't be able to get to the administration level if we found a way out on our own. The messages are short distress calls only, since we can't get much signal strength. It's pretty weak, so unless a ship is actively searching the area, it might be a long time before a ship picks up the message. After all, who would be scouring frequencies way out here looking for trouble?
Why, us probably. Okay, last mine. Well, last mine? What am I talking about? The last hololog. It's because I was reading the minor hololog bit. And we can decode the encryption at 0 spikes. We might as well. And then we've got a private comlink message related to KotOR.
What did you want to talk to me about? I have to suit up and drill the 3219K asteroid claim within the hour, so talk quick.
I heard you had plans for the Jedi. About selling him to the exchange.
Yeah, but security already set their piece on that, didn't they? Nobody's getting sold to anyone.
Are they? I've seen the logs you've been accessing. Maybe the two of us could work something out.
It doesn't matter what we work out. We wouldn't make one hyperspace jump before what's left of the Republic was on us.
If you have a way off this station, I can cover our tracks and ensure the Republic is not alerted to our presence.
Well, I may know someone. Works this system on special jobs. He may want to know details, but I might be able to arrange transport.
I've seen the logs. I know you've already asked him and given the details. Once he agrees, I can handle the rest.
Handle the rest? Like how?
When the time comes, I'll contact you via comlink. Maintenance out.
Since when did the maintenance officer grow some horns?
Did you not consider that that might not have been the maintenance officer? I didn't realise it till way later. I think it was literally the last year I realised that it probably wasn't the maintenance officer. Let's check the transmission.
The transmission gives the code to open the turbolift when or if help arrives. Code is a simple group of 5 numbers. 3, 17, 13. Then the next 2 numbers are...
So what's interesting is if your character has enough intelligence, you can pretty much defeat this puzzle straight away. So it kind of takes the challenge out of it once you do that. And it said items lost there, so we've basically lost all of those logs, which is a bit of a weird decision on the game's part. You'd think you'd take them back out, but whatever. No, they're gone forever. And that's one thing I was going to talk about actually with this game. Now we've already discussed about how this game was rushed to release. It was a rush release for the winter sales and various other things, Christmas holidays, all that kind of stuff. And because of that, and I should switch my weapons, so let's quickly do that. And, you know, switch the actual weapon instead of shooting them. So with this game, because of the amount of cut content there are certain areas of the game that are horrifically butchered compared to other parts of the game. When it comes to the vanilla game without the mod, Peragus doesn't suffer from too many cuts. It's actually pretty complete for the most part, and you can get away with playing it without the mod because the vast majority of it makes sense, even if you personally find it to be dull. And there's the music playing again, which is always ridiculous when it does that after you've paused it. Okay, we've got a few more broken items. And Peragus itself is one of the more heavily worked on areas in the game. At least in my view, it's one of the more consistently strong areas in the game. And we've got an even better version of the belt we're wearing. We're getting very lucky with this. Yeah, so we got more dexterity, which is even better. And yeah, so Peragus is fairly complete, but then the more you progress through the game, there are certain planets that do not have as much content, or they do not make sense, or anything along those lines. and Peragus fortunately isn't one of them, so you don't have to worry too much about missing too much. Most of the changes here are pretty minor, like the he has come cutscene from Kreia, because that little addition of hers is just absolutely ridiculous to me. The rest of it was in the vanilla game, not a problem. The damaged figure we saw on the Republic ship, that cutscene was originally a much lower resolution cutscene, but it's been accurately and faithfully recreated by modders within the game's actual engine to look a lot nicer. So let's access the camera logs and let's get on with this.
Almost didn't make it out of the dormitory section before the lockdown, you Murglak. You're cutting a little close, aren't you?
Yes, a regrettable miscalculation on my part. I'm contacting you because I'm picking up a subspace transmission from within that level. Is that your doing?
No, they must be trying to use the old relay system to send an emergency signal. I doubt they know what's really going on.
Hey, this turbo lift's locked down.
Try the code again, and don't worry about the miners and their transmission. By the time help arrives, we'll be all the way to Nar Shaddaa.
Oh, they won't be leaving the dormitories. The explosion within the tunnel has damaged the ventilation systems, causing breaches in the core exhaust conduits.
What? That's going to kill them all!
Not all of them, but I'm sending a number of mining droids to your location right now to correct that problem.
Korta, this turbo lift's locked down. The sequence isn't working.
Keep trying it! You! Why are you doing this? Why me?
You. It was never about you. The Jedi is all that interests me. But then you had to ruin everything by revealing his identity, and then trying to harm him. And that I cannot allow. Statement. You are a risk, Korta. You are impulsive, crude, and soon, deceased.
Soon deceased. That pretty much sells it to me that the maintenance officer was HK pretending to be him.
Mocking query. Korta, are you dead yet? Smug statement. I believe I forgot to mention that I reversed the turbolift codes, in case you managed to get this far.
Oh, that's cheeky. Okay, so if you didn't have enough intelligence, you would have had to have figured that out on your own, but it was a bit like Morse code. You just had to figure out what certain symbols meant and what they represented. So because we already have that, we can do that now. So 7, 5, 13, 17, 3. And there we go. That's the door opened. And one thing about that cutscene we just watched, if you skip the dialogue so quickly, and if you play it back a number of times, you can glitch out this area quite nicely. You've got like a whole bunch of holograms walking around, and you've got holograms walking into holograms, and it just throws off the entire shot. It looks ridiculous, but it's also quite funny. So let's go back up to the administration level, and let's see how this goes. Oh, hello, Kreia. How's it going?
I have felt a disturbance. Our enemy is here. We must leave at once.
Well, you kind of spoilt that for us earlier when you said he has come. Enemy?
The one that fired upon the Ebon Hawk as we attempted to rescue you. And he will not let us go without blood being shed.
If he didn't bring an army with him, then he's the one in trouble.
You know much of battle. Enough to know that this is a battle you cannot win.
Then you stay here and rot. I'll take care of this enemy.
We are together in this matter, you and I. What affects you affects me. There can be no division in our actions, or everything is lost.
I'm not letting some old scowl hold me up. I travel alone.
I realize that you have traveled alone ever since the Mandalorian Wars, but that time of self-reflection is over. And if you cannot see beyond yourself and your own needs, then you should know that I have the only means of accessing the Ebon Hawk's Navi computer. Without it, we both are trapped here.
Alright then, let's go.
We need to make our way to the docking area on this level. I fear the airlock has already opened, and if so, we must be on our guard. If we cannot reach the Ebon Hawk, then we must find a way to escape on the ship that has docked here.
Okay, so Kreia has joined our party. This is the first time in the game since the prologue where we can actually play as two characters at once. While she is in your party, her mental special ability gives everyone a bonus to earned experience points. Makes Kreia pretty broken at points, to be honest, because you can level up a lot quicker with her in your party. So, we've got dark side points for that. Not surprised, because I was pretty rude. I wasn't completely rude, but I was pretty rude. And we're actually more dark-sided than Kreia. That's interesting. So, let's not level her up straight away, because we can save that for when she's injured. Actually, I've changed my mind. No, we're going to level her up. So, the recommended attribute she gets given is always in Wisdom. And I agree with that, because she is a Jedi Consular. And it might as well build her up for that. And then I think the recommended skill, I don't know why it gives her Repair. It's a bit of an interesting choice. But we'll just give her 1 in everything of her specialist skills, her class skills. And then recommended Power Stun Droid. Do we need that particularly? I don't think so now. So I'm actually going to hold off that for a moment. I will, however, give her Force Scream, because one benefit to Kreia is because she's neutral, she can pick pretty much any power and not have too much to worry about. And also because she has such high wisdom, she doesn't actually have to worry too much about how her force powers are used. Like, she has pretty successful hit rates on enemies. So I've just picked up Force Lightning there, and we're done. And we can give Kreia, I think I'm going to give her a Mining Laser. Why not? Yeah, let's give her a Mining Laser. And then we'll just give her some energy shields. I hope I can break the Peragus shields down, because they're not amazing, and I would like to reuse them for something else. Will +2, that will be useful. And then insulated gloves again. Plus a... We'll give her my old bounce. Or shall I give her... You know what, I'll give her the Fortitude one. There you go. Okay, so Kreia's in our party now, which is pretty cool. So let's head off. Don't think there's anything else we need up here, so let's go. Ooh, ominous figures. Don't like the looks of that. Fortunately, our characters haven't actually noticed, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Let's get back to Atton and see how he's holding up.
What in space is going on? Who's this? Another Jedi? What, did you guys suddenly start breeding when I wasn't looking?
Well, yeah, there's barely any Jedi left. We have to kind of resurrect them somehow. Atton, there's no time to explain. Grab a weapon and follow me.
Alright. I'm guessing that Republic ship that just docked isn't carrying friends of yours.
I hope your talent for understatement is offset by your skill with a blaster. If not, then I fear our time together will be short indeed.
Yeah, and I'm also good at running and drinking, Your Majesty.
And even if you two aren't big friends of the Republic, that warship's the only way off this station.
That line feels so much funnier as somebody from the UK, because it just makes me think of the royal family as opposed to what the writers at Obsidian were probably thinking about. So Anna's joined your party, so we get 2 party members in quick succession after being alone for so long, which is quite nice. As long as he isn't the last party member standing, he can't be knocked out, and his saving throws improve the more he's wounded. This makes Atton pretty overpowered if you build him correctly.
Good thing we have a clear run to the ship.
Threat. Master, perhaps I did not enunciate clearly the last time we spoke. I suggested that you should shut down, stay put, and wait for rescue.
Atton, you had to tempt fate, didn't you? We could have been okay, but then, no, you had to talk about, oh, we're pretty lucky at the moment. Let's just tempt a HK unit to show up out of nowhere. No, you were clear. I just don't listen to assassin droids.
Clarification. Assassin droid is such a crude term, Master, reserved for Durasteel drones uploaded with only the most archaic kill programs. The function I perform has been referred to as wanton slaughter. I prefer to see it as a means of facilitating communication, resulting in the termination of hostilities.
So you mimicked the maintenance officer's voice to control the droids and kill all the miners in the medical bay?
Indignant answer. Master, the miners intended to place you in jeopardy. I could not allow that to take place, so I was forced to negotiate a termination of hostilities. After reprogramming the mining droids to mine any organics they perceived, They began to kill the miners one by one. Then a series of flawlessly timed explosions drove the miners into their dormitories, where I was able to gas them all at once without wasting time hunting them through the mining tunnels. I then administered a large dose of sedatives to the remaining miners in the med bay, enough to kill them, but ensure you slept peacefully. Of course, against my calculations, you awakened from your tank prematurely. I am ashamed by the inconvenience that caused for both of us.
Well, there wouldn't be a game if I didn't wake up, let's be honest. And so you ordered the mining droids to kill me?
Answer? You misunderstand me, Master. Those droids were there to guard you. As I
they
said,
didn't do a very good job of that.
anticipate you awakening from the tank. You are quite a hardy specimen for a Jedi. A wrong toe among humans, if you will indulge me the metaphor. Besides, as you proved, Master, such droids could never pose a threat to a Jedi. The droids were custodial in nature, cleaning the facility of other distractions.
Why did you want to capture me?
Answer. It is beyond the scope of my programming to probe the motivations of my clients, Master. Suffice to say that I am being well compensated for my services. You have been a difficult target to find. You have been wandering the galaxy since the end of the Mandalorian Wars, leaving little record of your passage. It is as if you did not wish to be found by hunters such as myself, or more likely, the Jedi Order.
Yeah, funny that. You found me. Obviously I didn't do a very good job.
Admission. It was a matter of chance, Master. I happened to be serving as a protocol droid on the Harbinger when you booked passage. After that, it was a simple matter to sabotage the Harbinger and call for a retrieval. Irritated.
You are not a protocol droid.
However,
you look
when
nothing
the
like
Hawk
one.
appeared and salvaged us from the wreckage, I was forced into a series of rapid recalculations, culminating in our current situation.
Who is this client of yours?
Chiding answer. My programming renders me incapable of revealing the identity of my client, Master. However, I am free to say that my client is wealthy and very interested in possessing the last of the Jedi.
So what now? You gonna kill me?
Answer. No, Master. Killing you was never the intention. If you resist my attempts to return you to your KotOR tank, however, I may inadvertently fracture your skeleton in several places to incapacitate you.
Okay, I'll agree as long as I get to keep the uniform, because I don't like the fact I was the only one who got their clothes taken off them. I'm tired of listening to you. Prepare to be scrapped.
Resignation. Very well, Master. If inflicting pain is the only means to resolve this matter, then you leave me no choice.
Here we go. Fight time. Now the pacing does go quite slow if you ask every single bit of dialogue there, but I always do it anyway. So we're going to just equip Atton very quickly. Give him everything we have. No, that's not a good idea. And I will give him some good reflex. Keep his gun for now. Now it's debatable whether you want to level up Atton or not. I'm going to level him up for the sake of realism and various other things. You might decide not to, for reasons I'm not going to actually explain until much later on in the game. So recommended will probably be dexterity. Yes, I am perfectly fine with that actually. Dexterity's fine. Skills, it's a little bit lacking actually, considering he's a scoundrel and scoundrels are meant to be good with skills and he only gets 4 per level up. It's a little bit disappointing. However, I will give him 1 in each of his class skills. That's not a problem. He could be my security and demolitions mule. And then we'll level him up again. Do the same thing. He does need some treat injury at some point though. So we could, in theory, he's already got his blaster pistol fully sorted, so that's not a problem. What's recommended? Dueling. It's always dueling. I will go for toughness because he needs some of that, because he is pretty fragile otherwise. And here we go. Let's get started. Actually using guns here makes more sense, so I'm going to actually cancel my attack and throw an ion grenade, the only ones we have. and then I'm just going to start off by throwing grenades at everyone.
Say the word.
And then hopefully that will get rid of them really quick. There we go. Oh wow. We took HK out very quickly compared to normal. That's actually... That's pretty interesting. I'm not used to taking HK out that quickly. And yeah, when he dies, he has a little countdown before he explodes, so be very careful if you're using a sword at this point. Hey, you want to pick up stuff from HK's corpse because he has a very useful item here called the HK Vocabulator. You want that for a variety of reasons later on in the game. So we're done for today. We've actually done quite a bit. We explored the dormitories, we fleshed out the mystery behind Peragus a little bit more, we found out that this HK unit was as untrustworthy as he sounded, and we finally met up with Atton and Kreia again, and they're now party members with us instead of being completely mysterious and cryptic. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.